This is Theoretical Thrills, the podcast where three hosts pitch original theoretical rides and attractions based on things they don't own. A special guest judge awards bronze, silver, or gold based on three separate categories: most creative, most practical, and guest's favorite. With bragging rights on the line, the hosts will try to pick each other's ideas apart through gentle ribbing. So sit back, relax, and stand clear of the moving doors as we present Theoretical Thrills.
Theoretical Thrills, the theory of the thrill.
Oh boy!
In 3, 2, fun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Theoretical Thrills. I'm your host, Oliver.
I'm Brad.
I'm Spencer.
And you're here for a very special week because this week we're joined by Jason Merrin. Jason, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here with us. Now, you're here for a very special week, and this is the week we're doing Space Jam. That's right. Come on and slam, and welcome to the Jam. This is a classic from our childhoods that's about to be rebooted and brought forward into a new generation where it can disappoint fans equally then. Now, I don't know about all of you listening and watching from home, but I had all of the Space Jam stuff, the hoodies, all that stuff. And here's the fun part. I could care less about the basketball, but seems like so did the writers. Now, Jason, let's talk about Space Jam. What is your connection with Space Jam? What is your background with it?
Sure. I think we came from a similar place. You know, I had a calling it an action figure of Toon Squad Michael Jordan would be putting it lightly, because it was like at least 1.5 feet tall. It was more like a statue. I don't know what that thing was. But yeah, no, I had action figures, I had merchandise. I could not care less about the basketball, but I love that movie. I watched it on repeat. Yeah, and it was hugely influential. In my life and my career, I'm an animator and a filmmaker, and my specialty is combining live action and animation. And I'd say probably the two biggest, most influential movies from my childhood were this and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So
that checks out. Not Toon World?
I actually have not seen Toon World.
It's okay. You don't need to. It's like Roger Rabbit, but worse. So let's talk about theme parks. Now, we got your idea on the animation side of things, but what's your connection with the background of the theme parks?
I love theme parks. I'm a huge theme park fan, have been my whole life. My bachelor party was at Universal Studios Orlando, Florida. Islands of Adventure, my very favorite of
Nice.
The theme parks. And I live in Burbank, California, so I drove past Universal Studios Hollywood to get to the airport to fly to Universal Studios Orlando for my bachelor party.
Yeah, see, Islands of Adventure, I will give it to you. Islands of Adventure and just Universal Studios Orlando, anyways, is better than Universal Studios Hollywood. The only thing Hollywood's got going for it's that studio tour.
Absolutely, there's no question. I mean, it's cool that it was built on an actual movie studio, and you get to see some of it on that tour. But it's night and day. This is like the free sample version of the Universal Studios in Orlando.
Yeah, and it's sort of a taster of it.
Exactly. Yeah, and I know Spencer and I have talked about this, but when I was growing up, I had a Universal Studios GameCube game where you would it would simulate
where you can run around the park or whatever. Yeah.
I would
like
tell
you would
people,
jump from the windowsills to unlock stuff.
I don't know about that. I do know that that there had mini games based on the ride. So there was a ride for E.T. and there was a ride for Jurassic Park, and there was a Waterworld cinematic where it was just the plane crash landing on the water in CG.
What astounds me is that every time you think Waterworld's done, it's not. There's one more form of it that's slightly worse than the original.
It's like that they have a stunt show and everything, and the way that they incorporate it in the video game is just here's the plane. Good job.
Yeah.
I love that.
No longer exists at Universal Orlando.
But the Back to the Future one was my favorite. The Back to the Future ride and mini game were my favorite, and those are I mean, obviously the ride's gone. May it rest in peace. But I would tell people about this game for years, and no one ever believed me. I don't know if this is true or not, but in my memory, you would have to wait in line to play the mini games, like for the full
I
experience.
think that was the loading screen.
It may very well might have been.
Like, I feel like I if I remember correctly, it was like this whole thing of like, as it was loading, it would put you in line, and then it wouldn't show you walking into the ride. It would show you just standing there. I was like, what is the point?
I like the idea of you just lining up behind a bunch of NPCs waiting for them to take their turn to play this game.
It seems like a game that Spencer would design. He would just enter and exit places over and over just so he could wait in line.
When I was a kid, I would just pretend. I would like wake up in the morning, I'd put on my Universal Studios t-shirt and hat, and I would go downstairs and put on the game and just pretend I was there for hours. And part of that was pretending I was waiting in line because I wanted the full experience. I was addicted to the Universal Studios experience.
Look, stay on brand, man. All right, so with that in mind, you're joining us for, as I said before, the Space Jam episode. Now, what you're going to be doing is listening to our pitches as we pitch to you. You're going to be judging on 3 categories. Those 3 categories are
Gam's your space.
Jordan's your Michael.
We're gonna have to put a not suitable for work warning on this.
And I was just gonna say, Spencer is to hosting as Michael Jordan is to baseball. So let's go ahead and. Yes, you are though. It's fine. So we're going to be going in order this week, and we went ahead and spun the wheel right before the broadcast, which gave us the following order.
So first we'll be going Oliver, followed by Spencer, and then myself going third.
All right. So with that said, with all of our stuff ready to go, with our jam spaced, let's go ahead and jump right in. You ready for this, Jason?
Can't wait.
Then let's jump right in. These are my pitches. Now, one of the key things in my childhood, aside from Space Jam, was the whimsy of a certain network known as Spike TV. And Spike TV happened to have a kind of program on it that was the first time I ever enjoyed sports. And that was the sport of slam ball. Now, in the game of slam ball, it's a standard basketball court. However, there are trampolines near the actual baskets to allow you to do some more zany things. So what you're going to see is the Toon Squad stunt show. 1 part Harlem Globetrotters experience, 1 part slam ball, and 10 parts fun. Now, you as an audience member will go into the stands and be there as you're joined by some of the Toon Squad as well as some of their competitors known as the Monstars. Now, the Monstars will be using a special kind of puppetry that will be full body, as well as the Toons using projection mapping on thin, clear screens. Using correct choreography, we could have the actual basketball game seem as if it's being played by the Toon Squad and the live action players, just based on where they're sitting. This show will take place for about 10 to 15 minutes, a quick little show just to show off a kind of fun little match. It'll be first person to 3. It'll be hosted by a person standing there sounding a lot like Danny DeVito, as a short little gremlin type creature. He'll be announcing this game for you. And at a certain point, Bill Murray will interrupt the show just to be able to give you a little bit of a shout out and tell you to enjoy it and believe in yourself. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can we suffice people's thirst while they're watching this amazing show? And the answer is the secret sauce. Now, we'll have people going through the stands offering some of Daffy's secret sauce, the elixir, if you will, that gives you the power. It's just water. It is literally just water with a loose label on it that just you can peel off and it just says water. But we'll charge $1 more for it. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've watched this experience, you've enjoyed it so much, but you wish that you could take a part of it home with you, right? Well, as you exit through the gift shop, you'll have the opportunity to buy an official Toon Squad basketball. Now, this Toon Squad basketball has a really fun little Easter egg. On the Toon Squad basketball will be a QR code. The QR code will allow you to download a filter that you could use on Instagram or Snapchat to be able to film your own one-on-one game at home with one of the members of the Looney Tunes. Using an AI learning software, it'll be able to actually run through and have the AR lay-on of you being able to play with your favorite tunes. That is the Toon Squad Stunt experience.
Oh God. All right. Let's go ahead and talk.
Yeah.
First off, I mean, you thought of all parts of this pitch.
Uh-huh.
I
You
don't
could say
even know
masterpiece. You could say it.
It's not. It started off so strong, and then it just
Mhm.
went downhill. Because you're having them play
because of the speed.
You're having them play spike or slam ball or whatever.
No, they're watching slam ball. Then they can go home and play basketball.
No. I'm saying you're having your stunt performers are playing this.
Oh yeah.
Playing with flat screens that have
Scrims.
projections. Yeah, I'm sorry, flat scrims that have projections of the Looney Tunes. So if they pass the ball to them, what happens?
They don't. So it's choreographed in a way that we can make it so the ball disappears and reappears via the animated medium. So basically the way we would do it is they would choreograph it right where they could hide the ball and then catch the ball in a way that would be able to.
Why are some of the Monstars puppets?
Because Brad, when all else fails and everything is said, the one thing that consistently works in my pitches is the fact that there's puppets.
It really feels like it's just shoved in there though.
But here's the other thing.
Can you imagine a puppet doing anything basketball?
Well, hold on. So it's a full body puppet. So this is the proportions of these characters of the Monstars are bigger than basketball players.
You think that's going to be a successful basketball player?
Yeah. Have you not watched Mascots?
It's like putting someone in a Dora the Explorer costume at Universal and telling them, all right, now you're going to also play basketball.
No, all I'm doing is treating them like a regular old mascot. They have things at big ball games where it's mascot races. They have big acts that are done with these characters.
But they don't do an entire stunt show.
I'm answering your question. Now, here's the thing. The people who are the mascots, the reason I'm keeping that show so short is so we can give them a chance to breathe afterwards. If they're only in there for little periods of time, it's not as bad as you would think. It also enables us to be able to do some fun gags involving the fact that they're wearing padding. So we can make them slip, we can make them fall, we can make them do things that would seem like they're being interacted with the Looney Tunes. They can make it so it seems like they're being a little bit more outlandish.
And before I pass it over to Spencer, who's had his hand raised this
He's been so patient. He's been so patient. I assume.
Hold on. Before I pass it over, no, not yet. I want to ask about this QR code. Why a basketball over this actual jersey? But then you put a QR code, which QR codes can just be, I mean, once one person gets it and puts it on the internet, then everybody can have it.
Right, but that's not the experience that I'm looking for. You see, the thing about it is that if the kid is taking home the physical ball, instead of it being a basketball jersey where you have to worry about sizing and you have to worry about all these different things, you have the physical ball. It also encourages kids to get out and play more. But the biggest thing of this is the QR code that's on it is registered to that ball. It allows us to track our metrics on what kids and what families are going to be doing it on the back end of things. But more importantly, it allows us to be able to update the software as it goes on.
Wait, are you tracking people with this basketball?
Buddy, it's just basic app like hardware stuff. Like it's going to track the audiences, but it allows you to track it and put it on social media.
I feel like you're throwing a lot of stuff out here. Spencer, you go, and then we'll come back to this because I feel like you're just throwing in a lot of mumble jumbo.
No, that doesn't seem like my style at all.
When you haven't actually really thought out how this QR code thing is actually going to work.
I absolutely have. It's an AR lay-on.
Oh my God. That's the favorite word.
It's fine. Go on, Spencer. What's the thing? What's a movie? Oh. I believe I said with correct choreography, implying. You know, it's so funny. You've managed to break Bugs Bunny in half by splitting this hair. It's amazing. So, Jason, do you have any questions about my first attraction?
I do. Oh boy. You really I'm a sucker for a good stunt show. And I gotta be honest, going into this today, I was thinking about like how could we bring like a combination of Looney Tunes and real life performance to life. I want to know what the ratio is. That's my number one question. What is the ratio of real performers to the projected sort of like the hologram Looney Tunes, basically, for lack of a better.
So I would say it's going to be the standard 5-on-5 for the people that are on the field, and then on the opposite side of the amphitheater, in the background of what you'd be doing at the stunt show, is a computerized screen that will have other Looney Tunes in the background in the stands watching it. So basically, the way that it would do it is you would have that, but then also, because we're looking through scrims, we have the ability to, if you're looking across the way at other human fans, to project one or two tunes in the actual audience as well.
But he's so it's 5-on-5, but how many of those 5-on-5 are cartoons and how many are actual?
5 are cartoons, 5 are stunt performers. The Monstars are real physical performers. The Looney Tunes themselves are projected.
So there are no humans on the Toon Squad team. There's no Michael Jordan analog, let's say.
I didn't put him in there. To be honest, I didn't, just because of the fact that you're going to know it's not Michael, and it's someone playing Michael.
The main story of Space Jam, we're just going to to cut that part out, and it's just going
to be about a theme park in
it's
space.
Going to be the Tunes going against the
act. I don't know what you're talking about.
Monstars, who they couldn't defeat, which is why they went and got Michael Jordan.
Right, the heroes of the piece, the Monstars, who are just.
Okay.
I have to say, like, I really like the concept. I really, really do. I love the way you've combined, like the mascot puppetry for the Monstars and like the 2D anime. I mean, that's my favorite, is the 2D animation combined with the real world. I do think that you're going to be limited in terms of the ability of the stunt performers. I think your best bet for like crazy Harlem Globetrotters style, bouncing off the trampoline, doing 3 flips and then a slam dunk, that's going to come from a real life human being, not in a mascot costume. So I like the mascots for the Monstars, I do, but I think personally, I would recommend throwing in 1 or 2 human stunt performers. I think if your concern is Michael Jordan, that we can tell it's not Michael, then you can do one of those like classic, like, oh, well, welcome to this is just going to be a regular one-on-one game. I'm your regular Universal Studios performer, whatever it is. What's this? The Monstars have crashed. So like it's I'm your tour guide, and then they turn into one of the players. So like it's a new character. You can do something like that, but I think you need some human beings doing some crazy stunts.
That's a fair note, Spencer. What's your next thought?
They're humans in mascot costumes.
There are puppet mechanics built into the suits themselves, but yes, they're basically. No, so it's gimmicks. So the idea of being able to have a mascot costume that fumes at the ears, or something that has those little things that are triggered by someone who's inside the suit.
So it's not just a mascot costume; it's a mascot costume loaded with electronics and machinery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, you're definitely not going to get them to play basketball.
I bet I could.
Just a top heavy,
not so top heavy. You put the bladder in the back, or you do something along the lines of that. People have been doing it for a long time. Mascots are incredibly complicated.
Playing basketball?
Entire shows.
Playing basketball?
They've done, yes. Yes.
Sorry, if I may, I do think, I mean, look, I think you have a huge advantage in terms of, I'm less skeptical of the Monstar mascots than it seems like the others are. I think you have a huge advantage in the fact that the Monstars are big and bulky and kind of slow in the movie. Like they're mostly, you can build like effects and set pieces around like these big giant costumes, and you don't need them to be doing flips. I do think you're going to have trouble with like the trampoline stunts and the costumes. I think with the Monstars specifically, it might be one or the other, which is why
I never
I'm an
said it
advocate
wasn't a
for-
death trap. I just said it wasn't a. All right, so that's going to be my first attraction. So that is going to be the stunt show. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there and you're thinking that I love this Looney Tunes attraction. I love the fact that I'm reliving my childhood through nostalgia. I wish I had some form of way to revisit that on a food level. So what I've gone ahead and done is added a separate cafe experience. Now, this cafe experience is going to be along the lines of not necessarily themed around the actual Looney Tunes themselves, because that's been done. There's several different versions of that through the different Magic Mountains. My goal is to do the Nostalgia Cafe. Now, in the Nostalgia Cafe, we'll have all the different types of foods that we would get to snack on when we were a kid, whether it be Dunkaroos or chicken nuggets, or sort of the idea that we would have purple and green ketchup, all the things that we would want to have that we had back then, brought forward and into a modern gourmet style. So while we can't necessarily get Surge soda, we could try to recreate the flavor palette and make something that has along those lines on tap.
Hold on, do you think chicken nuggets have have been canceled? Because
no, I don't think chicken.
Everything
no,
else
but
you've
the good,
everything,
hold on a minute,
everything
the
else you
good
labeled
Dino Nuggets
did
the
stop.
good
They
Dino
did stop
Nuggets you can't
producing
get anymore.
Dunkaroos. Yeah, but either way, they actually paused and stopped doing it. Dunkaroos, Surge, the different colored ketchups, but chicken nuggets being thrown in there as if they had stopped at some point. I'm sorry.
Since the chicken nugget war of 2002. No, but I mean, this is a place where you can go and enjoy some vintage styles of food that we don't really have anymore, mostly because it was all proven to not be great for you. But we do gourmet versions of those different things, and we bring that forward into a modern setting. We'll be playing jock jams and 90s tunes throughout, so you'll be able to actually enjoy your experience there. On top of that, we'll have retro memorabilia up on the walls to make it really feel like it's that sort of time, whether it be a Lisa Frank binder that your check comes in, or something that's just silly and of the times of building up that entire experience of the Space Jam. So that is going to be my retro nostalgia cafe. Any questions? Yeah. Any other questions? I mean, you do like a praline cookie, and then you do like a really nice buttercream frosting instead of what was in that original thing, and then you'd use the same style of container, and then we just do a gourmet version. So you could do like a nice, probably bright aqua blue.
Are you saying that Dunkaroos, the frosting wasn't high quality?
I'm 90% sure I used it to fix a hole in the wall once.
Okay.
You're right. It was high quality mortar.
Can I throw in a quick question?
Please.
I am having trouble. I like the idea quite a lot, but I am having trouble picturing sort of as Spencer described, the equivalent of how you take these foods and turn them into theme parks. Could you compare it to an existing theme park location? Would it be like a docking bay 37 or whatever the number is in Star Wars, like Galaxy's Edge? Would it be like
I think it's closer
Cafe?
to it's closer to the new Pim's Cafe over at California Adventure.
Okay.
So it's the idea of taking novelty food but making it a higher quality version of it and being able to play with that idea.
Giant panini.
Yeah.
$100.
Also, feel free to check out the web attraction at California Adventure, now open. So
What was that
let's
about?
go ahead and move on to my third attraction. Now,
Weird.
the third attraction here, I have to tell you, I was a bit of a nerd growing up. I know, shocking. But the whole idea is that I wish that I had the ability to do some of the things that I saw in that movie. So whether it be like dunk a basketball or do something along those lines, that would be more of an experience where I get to feel like I'm the person who's succeeding. So when I think of that and I want to smash that up with Looney Tunes, and then the other side of me says I want to make money from it, the first thing that jumps to mind is an arcade style parkway. So what I'm talking about is you're going to build out your own sort of experience where you can get stuffed animals, play old carnival games, but each one's formed and themed around one of the players of the Toon Squad. So whether it be Taz's Rip It Up and Destroy, where it's like a different take on shoot the star out, where it could be a thing where you're ripping it through a stick or something. Or we do the goldfish jump, or we do a Tweety Bird event type thing. But the idea is that you can get your plush creature that comes from it. You get to feel like an all-star. You get to feel like you won something. And most of all, you get to walk away with some kind of prize. And the theme park recoups its loss. So basically, it's a midway arcade experience where you get to enjoy doing stuff that you would be doing in the movie. A lot of it's basketball themed and basketball centric. So it could be like shooting a ball into a hoop. Another one could be a thing of passing the ball. There could be ones of pumping. There could be spit shine, but it's done via the squirting guns. So you have to clean the court quickly. It's the idea of taking those moments from the movie and applying them to midway games.
So are these midway games going to be like typical midway games in which they're actually more challenging than they look? Or are you going to simplify them so that people are more likely to win than you would at a typical midway game? Because like the shoot the star one's super,
it's a next to impossible one.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible.
Yeah, it's designed to fail.
And there's a lot of them. The hoops are not
I'd say it's an even break, because like the nerd in me who wants to succeed says let the kids win, but the theme park person in me says I would rather get that as another additional premium experience charge that I could be charging these park goers to try these sorts of things. Now I could say that there will be some that are rigged to no matter what give you a prize and that sort of thing, where it's like it could be a smash hammer that no matter how hard you hit it, if you're an adult it doesn't really work, but if the kid goes up and does it, it goes crazy. Like
so you'd have like a essentially a kids versions and adult you'd have separate, so that at a certain age you can do these, but once you hit a certain age then you're get over
it's like ones where it's a giant basketball hoop, so no matter, like you literally would have to throw it behind you to miss the hoop.
Okay.
So it's like that. It's basically the Looney midway.
All right.
So those are my three pitches. Kept it nice and safe this week. I know what you're thinking. I wish he would have gone more death trappy, but I think trampolines and mascots suffices.
Yeah. I don't have any more questions. Jason, you good?
I guess one quick question. Don't they already have like Looney Tunes midway games at Six Flags?
They do, which is why I would want to center them around the game, center them around the movie. So they would be like sort of the spit shine of like clean the court, or it would be the like basketball hoop ones where you're doing Toon Squad, where you have to do across the court shooting it. It's playing more towards the movie than towards the Looney Tunes themselves. Just centered around and themed around the Looney Tunes that are on Toon Squad.
Okay.
All right. Well, without any further questions, Spencer, you're second.
Now remember, Spencer, this is a movie that hopefully you've seen. Okay, good.
Oh, okay.
It's this big. Oh.
So when you say you're going on a thrilling ride throughout the park, you mean throughout this fake park?
Yeah, he means the Simpsons attraction.
Yeah, but a roller coaster, and an indoor coaster.
Right. Just want to make sure. Just want to review here. What happens on the Mummy? Cool. Just making sure. Thank you.
Laugh and everything.
No questions. Like Arrowhead, like mountains, like Baldy, or Doom. So is this before or after the movie?
Yeah, he's asking in your ride, does this
The story of this ride.
the story of this ride take place before or after the movie? Before.
So what it's not a thrill and they have to go get Michael Jordan. Things are so boring at this theme park that they have to go do the movie. You want to make the ride based on the park that's not interesting. It's not Beowulf, it's a theme park. I have no question. The defense rests.
Jason?
I have to defend Spencer a little bit here. I can't quite track that it's a mountain, but with morons, I do. The way the movie opens, it is not just that the theme park is boring; it's literally falling apart. Like the rides are catching on fire, things are going off the rails, things are breaking down, and the customers are not happy. So I can see a premise based on that opening where the theme park is actively falling apart, and you're riding on the rides as they come back.
I agree with you. I could see that premise. I think that's an excellent fix to what Spencer pitched. Spencer did not pitch a broken down, falling apart theme park, and that's why we have the thrill ride.
He says it goes off the rails.
He did say it goes off the rails, so I will give you that.
You know, the plot to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
So you just threw off the rails in there and hope that it saved you. Okay. I rest my case. You're stuttering there. I rest my case.
Yeah. I got another.
All right.
Jason, any other questions?
I mean, it's I feel like we've covered it a little bit, but I'm really, the part of the ride that I'm most intrigued by is the dark ride part of it and what we would be seeing, because you said projections, but I feel like it would be a great place for, again, I apologize for pitching on the pitch, but I would love to see animatronics of all these alien creatures and all that stuff.
No, you can't just say it's both.
No, you don't.
You did not pitch that. But you did not say animatronics.
I'm pitching ice cream, and you're pitching a sundae with sprinkles and a cherry and peanuts. Okay.
As a projection. I just want you to know we're going to look back at this episode and no one's going to believe that was part of your original pitch.
Well, I'll rather than putting words in your mouth, I'll ask one question. So I do want to know, there was a part of the pitch where you mentioned that you will once the ride takes off into thrill ride, you're going to be nearly missing other attractions. Is that are these real other attractions, or are these fake other attractions? Are these contained within the mountain, or does it leave and go into the park?
So, Jason, to answer your question, the second one.
Got it. Good to know.
Next attraction, bud.
What's your second?
That's
Oh, I have a feeling we have more of your pitches, so we're not leaving this mountain. Go on.
Splash Mountain's like a 10-minute ride.
Mm-hmm.
And what is your story for this?
There isn't. It'd probably be smart. I feel like you could stop the sentences. I didn't want to make the whole ride. Yeah, like Splash Mountain or other parks that have no nondescript log flume rides.
You're not supposed to just expand on this ride in the future. The whole point is we're pitching the ride now.
All right, so here's the thing. I want to make a ball, but down the line, it's going to be a tetherball court, complete with soda fountain. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm only pitching the ball.
Which is not
So
a story.
So you're going into sludge.
So it's an 8 to 10 minute ride with no real story.
That lands you in something that's sludge.
Gotcha.
Okay, Jason, do you have any questions?
So many, but I
Yeah.
think I think I'm good for the most part. But I mean, my biggest question is just like I mean, it's Sludge Summit. Sludge Summit is one of the rides or on Moron Mountain, right, in the movie. But the final drop into the sludge is the drop from space to Earth.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it's not. So the drop into the sludge is not on Sludge Summit. It's from space to Earth. Okay.
So it's not actually based off Sledge Summit. It's just stealing the name Sledge
I don't think it's based on anything.
To Earth? They drop all the way to Earth?
It's like
Thank
if we did Dunstan checks in as the theme, and you made the ride a checking in ride.
What is your third pitch, Spencer?
What's the third pitch, bud? Or play poker. It's too soon. I felt it. That's on me.
Okay.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I like the shout out to the golf. It's it's an overlooked part of the Space Jam movie is how much of it depends on the game of golf.
Oh man, can't wait to get to my pitches.
Oh boy.
The Wayne Knight experience. You know what,
I don't
bud?
think that's gonna matter.
I don't think we're gonna forget that. All right, so those were Spencer's pitches. One more time, Spencer, the names of those pitches. Excellent. Now, with further ado, let's go ahead and have Brad take it away.
All right, thank you. Space Jam, a movie of so many fond memories.
God, if you put on a chapeau, I'm going to slap you from a distance.
One of my first dates with a 7th grade girlfriend was at seeing Space Jam. The second date was watching her in the spelling bee. So, big times in 7th grade. But that brings me to my 3 attractions. My 3 attractions I feel are solid, definitely better than Spencer's. And so here we go. Attraction number 1, I call Acme Travels, Destination Looney Tunes. So Acme Travels, Destination Looney Tunes is going to be a train-style roller coaster, a la Big Thunder Mountain type deal. So it's going to be family-friendly. There aren't going to be any loops. But the whole point of it is you're going to teleport. You're going to take this train to Looney Tunes land, and you're going to do that by having the first hill dive you into the golf hole that Bugs enlarges with an Acme tool. So what's going to happen is you'll climb up the hill, and it's going to look, I want it to look like there's a hole there that you're about to just go through, like it's going to be a little hill, and then that will fast track down to all the way to the bottom of the hill, and you realize, oh, it's a lot bigger hill that you're dropping down. Sort of like how you have that cartoon effect of like where things seem very far away all of a sudden. So we'll have the whole an illusion of the hill is actually going to be very close, but it's going to rapidly increase and go down the track, and then you will go down the track down the actual big steep hill, and you'll race through Looney Tunes town. It's because you're going so fast because it's roller coaster.
Wait, I'm sorry. Where?
Looney Tunes. I don't know what to call it. Looney Tunes World.
Okay, just making sure. Go on.
Looney Tunes town. You're gonna race through. You'll get to see the Speed by the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. You'll speed through see Daffy Duck and Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny and all the little gang as you're just sort of racing through on this roller coaster until you arrive in our lovely Looney Tune land. So that is my first ride. It is a roller coaster, Acme Travels, destination Looney Tunes. Questions?
You didn't want to put them through Toontown?
Through Toontown with the little ones?
Yeah. Well, where Looney Tunes live?
I just know the Toontown. Whenever I think of Toontown, I think of the little ones.
Copy. So rather than so wait, you're talking about Acme Acres?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm talking about that world. I'm talking about Looney Tune, the sort of the world.
Gotcha.
Can I ask, is this an outdoor coaster or an indoor coaster?
Good question.
It's going to be an outdoor coaster. I want to use a lot of the color schemes and stuff. I figure if Cars can have that sort of cartoonish almost feel on its outdoor portions, I think it's very possible to do a roller coaster that you're able to feel the outdoors.
Avoiding straight lines and making it feel like it's cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd look cool.
All right. Then I bring you my second attraction. It's called the Space Jam Jamathon. Now, I too have come up with a stunt show. And I was very surprised because I also wrote Harlem Globetrotters meets Looney Tunes in my pitches. The whole point, though, is
No, he was the White Sox Spencer.
Mine is different from Spencer's in that is where our similarities sort of end than Oliver's. Spencer's.
Yeah, there's no need for that.
Mine's very different than Oliver's. That's where our similarities end. Whereas he's using puppets and scrims and stuff, I'm going to be taking something from a stunt show that actually recently opened at Universal Studios Orlando. It replaced Terminator, and it's the Bourne stunt show. So the Bourne stunt show mixes screen, like an actual nice high definition screen, with live action stunt performers. So they're able to go onto the screen and come out through special entrances and stuff like that. And it's choreographed so that they seamlessly can transfer between the onstage actual action and the court. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the onstage action sort of my of the stunt part, the bench, and the sort of lower crowd, maybe where the announcers and speakers are going to be. So we'll see things happen, like the basketball player maybe comes crashing out of the screen into the announcer table, and stuff like that. And then they go back onto the court, which is going to be on the screen, so that they're actually acting with, it appears they're acting with the Looney Tunes and playing with the Looney Tunes. So we're able to sort of have this whole sort of animated thing with live action moments throughout it. So it's going to be a movie that has sort of like everybody redoes the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I don't know why that came to my mind, but that's they had their certain moments of like, oh, there's live action actually happening while this other stuff's going on in the background type deal. It's going to be that sort of feel. So I want you to feel like you're there. I want it to feel immersive, like you're there, but I think that's going to be the easiest way for me to be able to have a basketball player, a real basketball player. Even if I want it to be Michael Jordan, I can actually do that. And people are going to be more forgiving if I then just have an actor coming out for quick stunts and stuff and then going immediately back in. You're not focusing. You're willing to have that sense of disbelief, the suspension of disbelief.
So the full basketball game is taking place on screen.
Correct.
And then they leave the screen to interact with the audience.
Correct.
And
so the court is it's gonna feel like you're watching the court, and then they'll be able to essentially leave the screen to interact.
It's Shrek 5D.
Yes, I wrote Shrek or Muppets Theater, and then it went with Bourne Identity as my.
Are there 3D glasses?
No.
No 3D glasses. Okay.
No, the Bourne stunt show
doesn't need them.
Doesn't need them, and so I figure I can use a lot of their same technology, but incorporate my cartoon world in it.
We also have like what's going on with Ratatouille, where they're doing position-based projection, so you're able to actually mess with people's foot, like the way that their eyes are interpreting forward. So it works. It's a good idea.
No, very cool.
All right. My third one, I decided to go weird. I designed a restaurant, and my third restaurant is called Peanut Butter Space Jam. So this is going to be a restaurant that has different peanut butter and jam sandwiches, but it's going to be taken to the next level, almost cartoonish. You know how you always picture that cartoonish peanut butter and jelly sandwich or peanut butter and jam sandwich where it's almost oozing a little bit out the sides and stuff like that. So we're going to do that. We're going to have bigger style sandwiches. We'll have fresh made different types of nut butters and non-nut butters made throughout. Now, I know peanut allergies are a big thing.
I was going to say.
So I'm actually going to, the way this is going to be designed is I'm actually going to have a separate, smaller kitchen branched off with a separate order window that is specifically, it's going to be completely walled off and sectioned essentially from the main kitchen that is specifically for non-peanut, for anybody with peanut allergies. I know I can only do so much. I think this way I can at least allow them to be able to order the food and they'll be able to eat outside and whatnot at the tables. They just won't be able to go inside necessarily where peanut, to the main kitchen or that dining room because of the peanuts that are going to be present. I wouldn't want them to risk it. So that is my my thought process as to how to allow them to be able to at least order the food and experience some of the food. And we will have non-nut based butters for that, but they'll be able to be ordered crossway. Yes, Spencer. No.
I'm going to take it one step further. When was the last time you saw a kid wash their hands after eating at a theme park?
I don't know.
So,
do you think that's my problem?
Well, it's about to be. So the reason they don't serve those types of foods in like the little cashier spots is because the likelihood of someone taking their food with them and walking around the park, or the idea that some kid's hands has it and then touches a railing and then that railing's touched by someone with the allergies. It's such a nightmare.
Look, I know I can order peanut butter and jelly sandwich for my kid at the theme park.
Which one?
Sorry to jump in, but I believe that peanut butter and jelly is a staple of the PIMS test kitchen. I think it's used in a bunch of the different meals in the PIMS test kitchen. I think one of the drinks too.
Mm-hmm. Good catch,
Oliver,
sir.
What are your thoughts, Oliver?
I mean, you got me on that one. So by all means, take
Jason.
it.
I appreciate you. There's always going to be a liability, but the thing is I'm going to do my best by building my restaurant the way it is, to ensure that typically those with the peanuts are contained in an area. Yes, there might be some light contamination from outdoors, but it's not going to be like walking into a peanut factory they'll be able to avoid that. The idea is also you're hoping that your park staff anyways is, especially post-COVID times, is maintaining a sanitary process of cleaning more frequently and things like that, to where that would be minimized. When you have an allergy, when you have an illness, you bring
an EpiPen.
You're going out into the world where there are risks, and you take those risks. And so we're going to do our best to help minimize them, but I can't say that they'll be gone.
Okay. Okay, fine. We'll let him have the peanut butter thing. It's still not Space Jammy.
Oh, it is. It's peanut butter Space Jam.
What kind of fruit goes into a Space Jam?
What kind of fruit goes into a Space Jam? Dragonberry.
likely story.
I mean,
That's not the point.
That's not the point. I don't know. There's a space company right now. Their main pod for their spaceship is the Dragon.
Okay, that's your third attraction. Is there anything else to it?
No.
Fantastic. Review your rides.
My rides were Acme Travels Destination Looney Tunes, my roller coaster, family friendly roller coaster, Space Jam Jamathon, my stunt show, a la the Bourne stunt show at Universal Studios, and Peanut Butter Space Jam, my restaurant of lovely peanut butter Space Jam
Excellent.
sandwiches.
Spencer, review yours.
Oh my gosh!
Spencer, review your. Excellent. And my were the Space Jam Stunt Show, the Nostalgia Cafe, and the Looney Midway. All right. So, Jason, this is the moment of truth. We're now going to go category by category and have you list off in order of third place, second place, and third place what gets the prizes. Now, keep in mind, your points are added to the total of the score, and the person who has the least amount of points at the end of the season will have to do which punishment, Brad?
They're going to have to listen to the Main Street Electrical Parade for 24 hours straight.
Oof.
Yeah, so keep in mind, you're subjecting one of us to what some militaries would call torture. So let's go ahead and go through it. The first category is creativity. Jason, what do you got?
Boy, creativity is that's going to be, I think, the most challenging of the categories for me. I'm going to give the third place pick to, let me see. I've been taking notes. I don't know. I've got like Post-its everywhere with all the different ideas.
This is brought to you by Post-it. Post-it. Stick it somewhere.
I'm gonna give third place, I think, to the Acme Travels roller coaster, Acme Travels Destination Looney Tunes.
All right.
I love the idea of an outdoor roller coaster that makes you feel as though you're diving down a golf hole into Looney Tunes land. I think that's a really clever idea for a roller coaster ride. And honestly, watching the movie, it feels kind of like a roller coaster ride when like the POV camera through the underground. So I really like that one. I think second place, I'm going to give it to, even though I had lingering questions about what actually went on the ride. I'm going to give I'm giving second place to Moron Mountain. I like the idea.
That's not his worst ride, so I'll give it to you.
I like the idea of, I mean, first of all, the theme park, like there's a theme park in Space Jam. So I feel like building a ride around the rides of it's
just makes sense.
Yeah, it just makes sense. It's staring you in the face. But I also like the idea of, the dark ride turning into a roller coaster. I'm a sucker for those kinds of rides. And I do think that it's an out of the box concept to have a Space Jam ride with no Looney Tunes and no Michael Jordan. Like you're going hard on just Space Jam IP. There's nobody else involved.
He's going larger universe.
And first place, I'm gonna give it to the Toon Squad stunt show, the Slam Ball Trampoline Toon Squad stunt show.
Always bet on puppets, Brad. Always bet on puppets. Hashtag always bet on puppets.
There was just so much detail to that one, down to the merchandising and the food that is sold in the stands to make you feel like you are like actually there. Look, I don't fully. I'm not giving that one practicality. I don't fully understand.
I don't even want it
with the trampolines, but you can't argue with trampolines and 2D projection and puppet. There's so much going on.
All right, so that takes creativity, puts me in the gold, with Brad in the silver, with Spencer in the silver and Brad in the bronze. Now let's move on to practicality. These are the awards for things that you could literally see tomorrow.
I need a little bit of clarification on this one, because I really don't want Practicality to be just like, what is the lowest hanging fruit, you know? Like,
Yeah, I would say this is the one that you can see easily built. Won't be that much of an investment from the park to be able to get that up and running. There really isn't that much time testing it, getting it going. It's proven.
all right, well, in that case, I'm going to give third place. Sorry, give me 1 second to consult my notes.
All good. Feel free at this point in time to go ahead and like, click, and subscribe to go ahead and follow us. It's up to you. Feel free to leave a comment. We'll respond. And also feel free to interact with us on social media at what handles, Brad?
At Theoretical Thrills, all across the board.
Awesome.
Just at Theoretical Thrills, not all across the board.
Not all across the board.
Don't add that into your tag.
It's a long tag.
Check out
It's a long
Instagram
tag.
where we post reels, and you might actually get to see short little clips that don't make it into the show.
It's true. Some of it ends up there. All right, Jason, what do you got?
All right, third place, I'm going to give to the Peanut Butter and Space Jam restaurant.
I'm upset on so many levels.
I mean, I think Pim's Test Kitchen has proven that you can, in fact, serve peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And look, it's a pun title. It's not the cleverest necessarily. Actual food that is being served. Dragonberry is a nice choice, I gotta say. But look, it's everyone's got to have their Ronto wrap, and I think Peanut Butter and Space Jam. You could open that tomorrow, easy peasy. Second place, I think I'm going to give to the Space Jam Jamathon, the other stunt show. I think I was convinced, tying it back to the existing Bourne and Terminator 2 attractions, plus the fact that much of it is screen based. I think it seems very, very easy to slap together, and would be a fun thing for the kids. So,
I remember, it's for the kids.
Yes, Space Jam Jamathon. And first place, I'm going to give to the Nostalgia Cafe. I think it's a fun eating establishment. It's got a good hook. If I'm being completely honest, I think the Space Jam tie-in is tenuous, but
that is correct.
But I do think that it is I mean, I would love eating there, and I do think it's a fun eating establishment that's not going to be too hard to set up or put together.
Stole it straight from Back to the Future. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our final category of the day. Yeah, super practical. So let's go ahead and move on to our final category, and that is going to be the guest favorite. Now, these are ones that just tickled your funny bone. There's no logic, rhyme, or reason behind it. But these are the ones that you immediately were like, yes, good, shut up and take my money.
Okay, so I can give one attraction multiple awards, right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
You can. Okay, because I think all of these are going to be ones that we've seen before. In third place, I this is going to make people upset, but I'm going to give third place to Moron Mountain. You
had one job, Jason. No, we listened to the pitches, bud. All right, so that's third place goes to Moron Mountain. Second place,
Acme Travels Destination Looney Tunes. I would ride that coaster all day.
All right. Which brings us to our final one here. This is the big one. This is for all the marbles. Guest favorite is
the Slam Ball Trampoline Toon Squad Stunt Show.
Yes! Always bet on puppets. Always bet on puppets, Brad. Always bet on puppets.
It hit that sweet spot for me between the live action and the animation. It's a big part of what I love about the movie, and I think it's the attraction that most marries the concept of 2D animation and live action performance. It is the truest to the spirit of Space Jam, I think.
An all gold week, gentlemen. With that in mind, Jason, thank you so much for doing this. You mentioned you're an animator. Do you have something you want to plug before we leave?
Sure. I would love to plug my animated short film, Action Dinosaur, which is about a time-traveling action hero Tyrannosaurus Rex from the prehistoric 80s and his best friend, who is a homicidal ninja. And it's a 5-minute short, and you can catch that on YouTube. It's called Action Dinosaur. You can also find it on my website, which is jason-merrin.com, and the dash is important. You need the dash between the Jason and the Merrin.
We'll make sure to include some links down there in the description. Jason, thank you so much for joining us. On behalf
Thank
of
you.
Theoretical Thrills, I've been Oliver.
I've been Brad.
And that's Jason. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
Did you enjoy the episode you just watched? Feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And if you have an interpretation of an idea based on the theme of the week, feel free to tag us on social media with hashtag Theoretical Thrills, and we may feature your ride and attraction on the show.
Theoretical thrills, the theory of the thrill.